if you haven't like tried out some fucking gay shit, like what the fuck? It's 2023. Come on, dude. If you confront it in your, even if all it is you confronting the possibility in your mind, right? Like, could I do gay shit, right? And then you think, nah, I don't want to. That's enough. So, not too long ago, I saw a post, and I reposted it to my own friend. And the post was, if you're mad about Drag Queen Story Hour, this is what it looks like. And it was a bunch of pictures of a bunch of drag queens that were basically dressed like Miss Frizzle. Mm-hmm. Okay? Or either Miss Frizzle or a character from a book that they're reading. That they're like, they come dressed up as the character. They read the book for the kids,
or something.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And it's adorable. It's adorable. It's lovely. Okay?
Lovely.
And so I post that. Now, 99% of my friends who interacted with the post at all were like, hell yeah, it is adorable. Right? One guy who I know a little, he's from my hometown. This is the important part. Okay? He's a black, I'm pretty sure, single father, and he's from the South. And he goes, that's not what people are mad at. And then he posts pictures in the comments of my posts that are like, they look to me like drag queens doing gymnastics. But whatever I know, it's like, they could have been being a little bit more risque, right? That's the essential point he was making, is that it's more risque, right? To which then my friends start just eating him alive and posting pictures of like ballerinas and gymnasts and fucking other people in fucking leotards and being like, is this a problem? What about this? What about this? Right? What about it? One guy posted a person on the subway with just like you could see his crotch because it's just his legs were open, but you couldn't, like, there weren't like balls falling out or anything. It was just a dude, right? It's like, you have a problem with this, right? Because it's all the same, right? Is the point. And he lost it.
Yeah.
Started calling everybody pedophiles. Right? This dude is a black nationalist. Okay? He literally thinks that Whitey is the devil and he's right. Right? Like, that part of, like, he's not like a black nationalist in the sense that, like, he hates all white people and like whatever. It's like, but his political stance is that, black people need to rise up. It's like black bootstrap theory to a certain degree, right? Like black people need to rise up. They need to take what's theirs, etc., right? Mm-hmm. And so for him to start calling my leftist / hippie / liberal friends pedophiles for defending Drag Time Story Hour is, and I don't know how to put this any other way, it's genius on the part of the conservative culture war people. Because, as I pointed out to him, you are making the exact same arguments that Tucker Carlson is. Right? Exactly the same. Mm-hmm. No difference at all. Right? Because then he starts posting, like, people at strip clubs and shit. Like, he starts, like, it got, like, he like, because he got backed into a corner by this, he's like, oh, well, would you let your kids around this? Or would you let your kids around this? And it starts getting, like, more and more, like, he starts escalating it, right? And a lot of my friends, especially the ones with kids, right? I have a bunch of friends with kids who were like, yeah, I don't know, whatever, right? Kids should know about sex. Like, they should know about bodies and sex and different fucking, how different people are. And, you know, and what the fuck is wrong with tits? They fucking, you know, your kid sucks on a tit for the first fucking however long of their life. It's like, the whole thing is like, it's like, it's puritanical, right? And that's their point, right? It's like, as long as no one's your whatever, that's up to you. Right? Yeah. And if you don't want your kids to see this thing or that thing or whatever, then you don't fucking have to.
Yeah, it's the same as like I want to say Britney Spears, because that fucking age or dates me, but like an Ariana Grande concert or something.
Yeah.
Like there's the average age of the person at that concert is like 10 years old. And it's a bunch of half-naked sexy dancing and stuff. And it's like, yes, if the parent doesn't want their kid to go to that concert, then don't let them go. No big deal. It's whatever. But there's a fuck ton of fucking, like, I guarantee that a bunch of these fucking conservative, like, people who actually have kids would have no problem with them going to some fucking pop concert, as long as there's not fucking devil and gay shit going on. As long as it's just normal, sexy lady type shit or whatever, they're fine. But as soon as there's something slightly queer about it, then all of a sudden it's fucking grooming.
Right.
It's like, that's the fucking shit that just drives me fucking wild.
Well, and so
it's like so fucking disingenuous and shit.
So a bunch of my friends, like, I put up the post, watched it for a little while, responded to one of the things he said, and then left it alone for like the rest of the day. I come back to multiple DMs from multiple friends, right? That are like, yo, your boy's insane, right? Like, he's calling everybody pedophiles. Like, you know, he's fucking talking about how, like, my kids should be taken away from me. He's talking, like, one guy was like, you know, I've been teaching music to kids for fucking years now. And, like, I blocked his ass, and will you delete anything that he said that has anything to do with me? Because that shit could come back at me. Like, and I'm not trying to get fucking, you know, my defense of drag queens runs right up to where my job is, right? I'm not risking my job to talk shit to your stupid friend, right? And so what I did was, at the end of all the fucking hubbub, I was like, hey, dude, as in the friend that was calling everybody pedophiles, dude, stop calling my friends pedophiles, because I'm not friends with pedophiles. That's fucking, like, whatever. I, like, to the extent that I fucking know kids at all, there ain't no pedophiles, right? And what you're doing is giving cover to pedophiles, because that's the real thing. Somebody wants to your they are not, and this was the revelation that I had, right? That there's two revelations. One of them is that this particular culture war, the one about drag queens, is fucking genius, because there is nothing in the fucking world other than this that could get a fucking black dude from the South to say the same shit as Tucker Carlson, right? There's nothing in the world. It is just this. It is just drag queen shit.
I don't know.
And other queer.
I mean, honestly, there's definitely, you know, I'm not going to start getting all in super deep into this or whatever, but there's definitely conservatism strains in black culture.
Yeah,
there's homophobic, you know, strains.
But I'm saying that this,
there's a lot of different types of black people.
Yes,
just
yes.
like anybody else.
Church black people, yes. There's the distance between a white person, a white Christian, and a black Christian is not that big, right? That's true, right?
Well, yeah, if they're super super religious Christians,
right. If they go to church, right?
Well, I mean, even like
if they go to fucking Baptist church, or like whatever, like if they go to a denominational Christian church, right?
Yeah,
there ain't that much difference.
I would say most I've met a couple people just due to the nature of my work that are, I would say, fall into this kind of like Christian religious older black person who's I would say they're, for the most part, they're pretty moderate, and they probably voted for Biden.
Yeah, no, they're Democrats. They are,
but they will still get hung up on reactionary shit, just like a fucking
like all
any
legit Biden voters.
Yeah,
yes.
Seriously, like if you actually voted for Biden versus instead of voting against Trump, then yeah, you probably have some fucking weird political opinions.
Right. Yes. No. And right. But the thing that struck me when I was talking to one of my friends in the DMs, it was like, my thing is whatever he thinks, right? And I said this to him at one point, right? It's like, whatever you think. And he didn't answer me both times because he knows I'm right. Right? That's the thing. He's like, he knows I'm right about this alone, which is whatever you think, right? Whatever your opinion is about this, about drag queens, about trans people, about queerness in general, and about exposing kids to it, right? Whatever your opinion is, when has more white legislation ever helped any black person? Because that's what you're talking about. Like, that's the road you're going down, is that you are fine. You would be fine with this being criminalized, with like, with a fucking drag queen twerking in the vicinity of children, right? That's probably as bad as it gets, right? That's as risque as it gets.
Well, yeah, there's already certain states that are
Tennessee and somebody, I can't remember who, but somebody was just like, hey, I just took my 2-year-old to a drag show in Tennessee. Come fucking get me, right? I'm admitting to the crime right now. Come arrest me, right? And I'm very curious to see what happens. And but he knows I'm right in that more laws have never helped any black person, never. and right?
Well, like, unless it's like a law that says you can't just dump toxic sludge in this pool.
Well, sure, but I mean laws that penalize just regular people.
Right.
Yeah. They will redound down to the black community. Well, right, but the other point that I made, right, was that like they got you, right? That they, meaning the people that I know for a fact you hate the most, have you on their side about this. right? And that's when it was like, man, that these fucking neocons that came up with this shit are absolute fucking evil geniuses. Because there is no way in hell that you could get black people to be like, well, I'll vote for the Republican because they're good on queerness or whatever the fuck, right? Like that's and the thing that's fucked up about it is like, if that means that trans people aren't allowed to exist, then so be it, right? That's where my hard limit is, because like being in drag is like oh, and never mind. That's the other thing that I was laughing about this is that, like, dude, of all the people to accuse of trying to fuck, drag queens would be absolutely the least likely people to get away with like loud, brassy, fucking beehive wigged, makeuped out, fucking sneaking away with a kid. Motherfucker, you best believe the entire town would be out with torches and pitchforks looking for exactly that, right? Like, it's like, that's the dumbest group of people. They have no access to children. Like,
here's a thought. Maybe instead of, focusing on drag queens, if you're looking for groomers, and maybe look at I don't know, youth pastors.
Yeah, youth pastors. No, and that's the other thing.
Like those freaking weirdo looking people that get like have fucking total control of what your kids are doing for multiple hours a week, probably.
Sure.
Whatever. Like what the.
But see, and this is my other thing, right? Is it like, so my point is that the temperature on this needs to come down, and I'll put this out up front, right? I don't have kids. I don't know any kids personally, really. Like, even my friends that have kids, I ain't never met their kids. So my like loyalties about this are strictly to the queers, right? To the drag queens, the trans people, and the queers.
Yeah.
Right.
Also,
I don't keep your fucking kids safe, okay?
Yeah. Parents, that's the old classic conservative fucking. Well, do you know what your children?
No,
are you watching?
Then at the same
if your wife is at work, who's watching your children?
They complain in the same breath. They're like, when we were kids, our parents would just throw us outside and lock the door, right? It's like, oh, you mean to get molested by your fucking neighborhood Catholic priest, right? Like, whatever. Like, but my thing is like, you shouldn't cast aspersions on any group of people, and that includes the people that are most likely to molest kids, which are like Boy Scout troop leaders and fucking youth pastors, right? Because for every fucking Boy Scout troop leader or youth pastor that molests a kid, there's like fucking a bunch that are just trying to be fun, right? And just trying to have a good time and fucking, whatever, like, make a good time for these kids, make a memory, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, so it casts aspersions on them too, which I feel bad for them. But if I'm going to throw anybody under the bus about this, it ain't going to be the fucking drag queens, and sure as shit is not going to be trans people, because I bet you if you were to do a poll or whatever the fuck, if you were to find every trans person in the country and be like, hey, all right, do you think you want kids? Guarantee you it would be in the high 80 percentile of like, no.
Yeah, I mean, what this really is, though, it's just a revival of the gay panic of like the whatever 80s and 90s and shit, and like they've already lost the gay rights, gay marriage shit, and they've had to bend their knee and say, yeah,
although they're working on it.
They are kind of moving backward. They're starting to go back. Like 10 years ago, or I'd say like 5, 6, 7 years ago, most Republicans are like, I agree that gay people should have rights just like everyone else. Like they were like, okay, well, the Supreme Court
had to say it.
So this is the popular thing. So okay, fine. But now they're trying to revive it, and their new target is trans people, because trans people are just flat out less accepted than gay people are in our society as a whole right now.
Yeah.
And like just 100%, that's
They're
just the fact.
easy. They're way easier to demonize too.
Way easier to demonize, and they figured out that if they put all the panic about their kids, their kids get these ideas of becoming trans and all this, and it's like they think it's a mind poison type of thing.
Yeah, no, and that's the other thing that they say with no irony, right? With no irony, they're like, they are trying to indoctrinate our kids into their way of life. They are brainwashing our kids by telling them certain things are true and real when the things that we want to brainwash our kids with are the things that we want. Like, it's like, that's what it's like. They're like, we're just trying to raise our kids with the normative values that every blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
like,
did you see that meme? It was like from a Florida school curriculum book or whatever, and it was a little like elementary school blurb about like a picture comic book thing about Rosa Parks, and it used to say Rosa Parks was asked to sit at the back of the bus because she's black, and she refused. And they took out the part about her being black, and now the story just says Rosa Parks got on the bus and they asked her to sit in the back, and she said no and sat in the front. And that's the story of Rosa Parks.
And it's like, what?
And so this whole banning of CRT and like the anti-woke shit is just their fucking like their facade for basically whitewashing history, removing any kind of idea that maybe possibly slavery existed, and all of the aftermath
they're
after
removing
that.
just basic context from situations. And then they're going to complain about why their kids are stupid.
Yeah,
right?
Seriously,
like, what you'd have to be an idiot not to go like, hey, teach question. So Rosa Parks didn't want to get up and go to the back of the bus. Mm-hmm. Why?
Yeah.
Why was that?
Well, I'm sure there's going to be some smart kid who's going to say that, or the teachers will probably fill it in if they're a good fucking teacher. But still, it's like that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to erase race out of history like it had no fucking meaning or context.
Well, yeah, like there's no black people. Yeah. Right? Like, it's like, what the fuck, dude? They're amongst us, right? Like, you can't, their skin's a different color.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that. You can't.
What about this, what is it, like a state attorney general guy or whatever?
The fucking guy in Tennessee. The guy in Tennessee that was giving like real encouragement to this fucking twink who was like really putting some racy shit on Instagram.
Yeah, I saw some of those pictures. I was like, yeah, he's basically naked in these pictures, and like obviously it's like sexual. Like, you know, and the guy's like, yeah, posting all these heart emojis and like
yeah,
fire emojis.
Baby, huh?
Yeah,
and it's like,
you know, that dude was fucking jerking off while he was doing it.
It's like, dude, of course he was, and like, fine, right? See, that's the thing, right?
But not fine because he's very anti-gay,
right? Not fine for the legislative reason, right? And that's the thing. It's like maybe that could be that's so when I that was a separate story. When I institute authoritarian communism, and I am at the head of it, that will
You
be
mean the workers, right?
that will be that will be I will be the dictatorship of the proletariat. Me. I will represent you. Don't worry. It's gonna be fine. Like I don't need any extra stuff. I'm just gonna be like the Rasputin of that. Right, you know, like just the person who's like, solve the problem. Here's the solution, and then people argue over it, and then the council decides, and then they put it to the other councils. If you sign on to anti-gay legislation, later you are found out to be gay, you are no longer allowed to do legislation, and your vote stops counting. Right? That's just how it works. That's how it is.
Honestly, we should have a what is it? Vote of no confidence or.
Oh God, dude!
We should do recall elections.
Congress
way
would
more
be
often.
gone.
The fact that we can't just like call a special election to vote out George Santos after. I
love him though.
The people of New York, I'm sure a lot of Republicans would be like, "Fuck it, I'll vote for the Democrat because this guy's fucking nuts."
Yeah, I love him though, but he's my favorite.
Yeah, he is pretty awesome actually. Like he's basically uber politician at this point.
Well, yeah, no, especially all right. So there's a video that was going around. I don't know if you saw it, but where some citizen journalist was walking behind him, and he goes, "So who do you think's going to win RuPaul's Drag Race?" And George Santos turns around with this like gay ass look on his face, right? Like where he's like, "Oh," like, and where he has opinions, right? Like that's the thing. Like he has hard opinions, and he wants to give them so bad.
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, Starshine, I'm not supposed to say,"
and he can't do it, right? Because, and this is the thing that's dumb about him, right? Like he's a con man, whatever, blah blah blah. Why the fuck would you be a Republican? He should be a Democrat. He'd be the greatest Democrat ever. A gay, gender fluid, drag queen, bisexual, fucking whatever, right? Like that motherfucker would
Oscar-winning,
up. He would clean up.
Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, fucking bring it. Yes.